Thank you for joining me in a discussion about business cardiovascular disease. Business cardiovascular disease is easier to understand and appreciate when we pause and reflect a little bit about our life-sustaining circulatory system. Life is better with a healthy heart. Our heart is central to our overall good health, and it is the most important muscle in the body. A strong heart pushes out more blood with each beat, enabling it to function more efficiently and decreasing the stress on both the heart muscle and the surrounding arteries that are feeding in and out of the heart. When you think about the implications of an unhealthy heart, the first thing that comes to my mind is just that everyday functioning in life is more difficult. That's because a series of these types of things start to manifest themselves on an increasingly frequent level as the heart just continues to fail as a result of cardiovascular disease. The important thing to appreciate about a healthy heart is what it enables us to do, just as thinking about an unhealthy heart and what it blocks us from doing. The American Heart Association has defined cardiac arrest as the abrupt loss of heart function in a person who may or may not have been diagnosed with heart disease. What I'm trying to help us appreciate is that the heart is the center of our circulatory system. It is pumping the blood and oxygen through a network of arteries, veins, and capillaries running throughout the body. When I think about cardiac arrest, I think about sudden cardiac arrest, particularly that which comes about as a result of the heart stopping. When that happens, the electrocardiogram will go flat. In other words, the person will be flatlining because their heart isn't pumping. When that happens, people can be resuscitated through CPR, called cardiopulmonary resuscitation. And the point of resuscitation is to allow the person to resume life so that they might then make the appropriate changes. For example, cardiovascular disease manifests itself primarily in high blood pressure, cholesterol, and how both of those affect the health and strength of both the heart and the arteries. As you think about that, appreciate this. A person that has cardiovascular disease is always at risk of heart failure. And these same type of issues that one can appreciate about cardiovascular disease is the fact that also can apply to our businesses. For example, businesses with erratic cash flow, weak profits, and poorly used financial reporting are at increased risk of flatlining. Think of it in terms of those arteries and whether or not they're open and the blood is flowing cleanly through them, or whether there's blood pressure or cholesterol that's causing to those arteries to collapse and not function as they should. That's what happens to a business that has these characteristics: erratic cash flow, weak profits, and poorly used financial reporting. So how do you protect your business from cardiovascular disease? Well, it starts with new management practices over your cash, profits, and reporting. When you bring in new management practices, it helps you better manage your cash from profits through your reporting. That's what CPR stands for. Those who choose not to change up their practices but stay with the status quo because it's easier, are always at increased risk of business cardiovascular disease. That's because the essence or the core of the business CPR management system lies in positioning management teams to protect the health of their business by protecting the health of their operating cash flow. They do this by helping each member of the management team and ultimately every employee in the business to recognize and appreciate how their actions shape the quality of your profits. The quality of your profits, when they're up on the higher end of this scale, indicate a more healthy business. When they're on the lower end of the scale, they represent a business at increased risk. And that's the value of your reporting. Your reporting helps you see how your business is performing on a monthly, quarterly, annual roll-up of your individual business transactions that are occurring day in and day out. Those transactions get rolled up into your financial statements, and when you utilize the information available from these reports, you're able to develop new insights. You're able to see what's working well in your business, where the issues are, and that enables you to take new actions. So business CPR does have its beginning place with cash. It's the proactive management of your cash. So just as the blood vessels carry the blood to and from the areas across your body, the cash your business generates from operations funds the activities that occur across your business. The P in business CPR is for profits. The profits your business produces pump the cash through your business operations. And those who have it in a more rhythmic method where the cash is coming in and then flowing through the business and then going out are a business that is much more stable and what we would consider healthy. That's because anytime your profits diminish or shrink, you put your business at increased risk of cardiac arrest. That occurs because there's not a sufficient amount of cash from profits flowing through your operations. That's a result of just not converting sales into sufficiently high enough profits. When that happens, your business becomes starved of cash. In other words, think about it from a cardiac arrest perspective. The blood has both oxygen and nutrients being carried throughout your body. When your cash is constricted because of low profits, you're starving the tissues of your business of the oxygen they need, which is reflective of your operations. And those poor red cells that carry the nutrients, that's your cash quality. As those diminish, you rob your business of cash reserves. And the cash reserves are reflective of the nutrients carried through your body. And so with that, when you have healthy profits, you have a healthy heart pumping cash through your business. When you don't, you're at risk of suffering business cardiovascular disease. Think about it from this perspective. A person who exhibits a sudden loss of responsiveness and ceases normal breathing is a person experiencing cardiac arrest. Those are the two easiest signs to recognize if someone's in distress. These same indicators can be applied to businesses, and that is that businesses that experience a prolonged loss of responsiveness, in other words, it becomes increasingly difficult to do things because cash is tight and dysfunction is starting to take over the business, responsiveness declines, and ultimately the business will grind to a halt because there isn't sufficient enough cash to propel the business through a normal day, week, month, and even year. That's because when profits are low and cash flow is tight, every business that encounters this is at risk of violating the number one law of business, and that is when you're out of cash, you're out of business. If you have either cash or profit issues, I encourage you to go to businessfitnesscheck.com to learn how at risk your business is to flatlining over the next 3 years. Go to businessfitnesscheck.com and get your free risk profile, or check out our next video in this series on What can be done to reduce the risk of business cardiovascular disease? This is part of our YouTube channel, and you can check out this video, or go to businessfitnesscheck.com, where you can take the no obligation business fitness test to see what your overall risk of business cardiovascular disease is. Thanks for tuning in. This is an important concept that can really change both the quality of your life and your business. So learn the benefits of business CPR and how it can help you make more money with less stress by taking this test and then letting us review the results with you. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.